Yo, what's going on, CZN fam? I'm Sue, and in this video, I want to go over the very first developer commentary that was released earlier this morning for Chaos Zero Nightmare. Just a few days ago, Smilegate's other gacha game that I cover here on the channel, Epic 7, got arguably the best developer commentary that we've ever seen for it. In it, we got a very refreshing, open, and honest discussion with the dev team, and it's really good to see that same exact atmosphere has been preserved here with the Chaos Zero Nightmare commentary. That said, while the transparency here is great, there wasn't a whole lot of substance shared, I feel like, in the 23-minute runtime of this thing. At least, that's my opinion. Anyways, let's break down the major things that we learned from this developer commentary, shall we? First up, the introduction of what appears to be a bond system in this game. Much like many other gacha games, such as Goddess of Victory Nikke, players will be able to hang out and interact with their favorite combat agents to raise their affinity. The art team has apparently put a lot of love and care into this section of the game, and it's complete with illustrations that are just for this specific part. Based on the live 2D art that we briefly see teased in this section, I can't help but wonder if this is how you'll unlock different lobby wallpapers, just like in Epic 7. Having live 2D backgrounds for the game's lobby, complete with voice lines, would be a really nice thing to have in this game as well. They also address perhaps the biggest issue that people have had with Chaos Zero Nightmare since it was first revealed to the public, that of course, being the game's chibi sprites. It's no secret that there's a good chunk of the gacha gaming player base that really dislikes chibi sprites. Many feel it's lazy, while others simply just don't like the aesthetic choice. A lot of Smilegate's in-franchise players are already accustomed to the gorgeous full-size sprites that they have with Epic 7, so seeing chibis feels like they kinda cut corners for this game. The team went on to explain that this all has to do with the scale of the enemies that we'll be fighting in Chaos Zero Nightmare. They originally went with the full sprite style like in E7, but when you shrink those sprites down to give the sense of scale that they wanted in battles, it's hard to make out all the details. They then made the decision to go full-on chibi, which preserves the facial expressions and other elements of the design, while also preserving that sense of scale. Based on the feedback after that reveal, they adjusted it to the style that you see now, which is a partial chibi style with the large head to make out all the details when fighting huge enemies. This to me is a pretty smart change, and honestly, I'm all here for it. That said, I never really hated the chibi design to begin with, so maybe I'm not really the one that they need to satisfy. Later on in the presentation, a question was asked about why the team decided on a card battle system. They felt this type of gameplay was a natural fit, it seems, for the themes of the game that they were going for. No real-time controls, nothing too complex, and every single choice matters, so the players always feel in control. Just a natural fit for a strategy-based mobile game, which is what they set out to create. They believe that their target audience for Chaos Zero Nightmare are going to be strategy gamers who want something that doesn't really have a high barrier to entry, which I think is perfect. Card games usually have a very high skill ceiling due to not only the decision trees in gameplay, but also because of all the decision trees in deck construction. I think it's very smart of the gameplay team to recognize how complex the topics found in card games can be, and to make a major focus be to make it as easy as possible for most players to get into the game. They are introducing things like fixed decks for specific stages, and also having levels that encourage intuitive decision making and deck building to kind of naturally help you find your rhythm with the characters that you want to play. Still on the gameplay front, they confirmed auto battling will be in this game, but only for the game's farming dungeons specifically. They also confirmed that there will be difficult content, even for veterans of this game genre. That's good news for me because I'm a battle-hardened veteran, I feel like, at this point for most card games, and I really enjoy difficult content, so I cannot wait to get my hands on this game when it finally launches. Speaking of launch, the game will ship with both the Korean and Japanese dub for all of its characters. The main story will also be fully voice acted in both Korean and Japanese. This is starting to feel like Epic 7's Origin update was actually a test run for Chaos Zero Nightmare. If the quality of this game's story is as polished as the E7 Origin update, then I think we've got nothing to worry about when it comes to the main story experience. And speaking of voice acting, they also pointed out something that I've known for a while but still is pretty exciting, and that's that the voice of the character Hugo is none other than Yuichi Nakamura. In case you don't know, that is the Japanese voice actor for the character Crow from Epic 7. They also spent some time alluding to Hugo's importance in the game's main story, but didn't really explain further since they didn't want to spoil it. The final thing that was discussed is how far along the game is. Based on the general consensus amongst the panel, it appears to be somewhere between 90 to 99.9% complete, which hopefully means that it's just over the horizon. If I had to guess, I'm expecting somewhere between a mid-September to late October release, but that's just my opinion. I've been covering this game since April of 2024 when it was first released, so to see the release date is so close, just over the horizon, I can't wait. It really does feel like a dream come true. If you're not already, please consider subscribing to the channel, as I'll be covering Chaos Zero Nightmare pretty heavily upon its release, with things like guides as well as daily live streams. And don't forget to pre-register for Chaos Zero Nightmare on your platform of choice to receive a bunch of exclusive rewards, including the 4-star Amir. As I'm recording this, they're only about halfway to the number of pre-registers required to unlock that character for free, so hopefully this video could get those numbers up. If you're not already, I'll link the official website down in the video's description where you can figure out how to pre-register. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see you in Chaos Zero Nightmare real soon. Later now.